The Southern Illinois Salukis, Luke Martin, confirms Weber's passion for the Valley has never waned.
Saluki basketball was no stranger to success, having had Missouri Valley Conference and Saluki Hall of Famer Rich Herron at the helm. The following resurgence of Saluki basketball was led by the personable Bruce Weber.
Coach Weber's personality, an infectious personality, was key to him being able to develop his program and eventually succeed. He commanded the room, but not in a domineering fashion. When he walked in the room, you knew the head coach was here, but not because he was here to make everybody shut up and take notice of him. He was there to meet everybody and talk to everybody and be an ambassador for his program and for SIU.
He inherited a program that had recorded 3 straight losing seasons, and off the strength of preparedness and constant effort that spawned the nickname Floor Burn U, quickly turned the Salukis into Valley champions.
Being prepared to play was so important to the Salukis. Like, we wanted you to understand our approach to how we were going to win, and that's how we made our players. We did stuff back then that really allowed them to flourish and understand what it meant to be a winner.
During his 5 seasons at Southern Illinois from 1999 to 2003, Weber's teams compiled a record of 103-54, advanced to 2 NCAA tournaments in 2002 and 2003, including a Sweet 16 appearance, plus an NIT appearance in 2000. Under Weber, the Salukis beat 5 Power 5 opponents and climbed as high as number 22 in the national rankings. Off the court, he was also highly impactful on both his players and staff, including future Saluki head coaches Matt Painter and Chris Lowry, as well as Brad Korn.
I never knew what you were teaching me as a player. I just showed up every day and tried to do my best. And now as a head coach myself, and be able to take a team to the NCAA tournament, all the values, all your character, who you are as a man, really shines through in our program to this day. So to me, that is truly a legacy.
I just didn't know how good I had it because they taught me how to work. They taught me the game. They taught you to work with integrity. Good people, and they treated people the right way, and they didn't cut corners.
SIU won the Missouri Valley Conference in 2002 and 2003, and Weber was named the Missouri Valley Conference Coach of the Year in 2003. With all this in mind, Weber left behind a legacy that is matched by few in SIU history.
You were compared to coaching legends like Jack Hartman, Paul Lambert, and Rich Herron. And when you left SIU, every coach that followed you and that will follow in the future will be compared to Hartman, Lambert, Herron, and Weber.
And now he can add the title of member of the Missouri Valley Conference Hall of Fame. For the Missouri Valley Conference, I'm Luke Martin.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce Weber. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have another round of applause for our 2025 Missouri Valley Conference Hall of Fame induction class. And everyone, that concludes our Board of Directors Hall of Fame breakfast. Again, we would ask that you could clear the Premier Ballroom as soon as possible so that the Stiefel Theater staff can begin the changeover process for the next event in this room. It's a busy day for everyone. To attend today's afternoon session of the tournament, though, you will need to depart from Stiefel Theater and enter Enterprise Center with your game tickets. Again, thank you for support of the Missouri Valley Conference and our men's basketball tournament. Enjoy the madness. Ding. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is, in the NFL, there's a 2-minute warning. This is a 5-minute warning before we start our program. It's great to see all of you here today. What an incredible class we'll induct. But again, 5 minutes and we'll tip this thing off. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to one of the highlights of the entire year, our Missouri Valley Conference Hall of Fame Board of Directors breakfast. I'm Mitch Holtis. It's a pleasure and honor to be here this morning in my 30th Arch Madness and to be a part of this event especially. And special thanks to all the folks here. I'll mention those here that allow us to use the premier ballroom here at beautiful Stiefel Theater for this edition of the Missouri Valley Conference Board of Directors Hall of Fame breakfast. Before we get started, congratulations to the Drake Bulldogs and your regular season championship in an incredible year. So give them an applause. You know, sometimes you can go back and find an old manual, even in this day and age of high tech, and Drake went to the old manual. 90 years ago, a Valley school hired a coach from Northwest Missouri State, and it turned out okay. Because that's when Oklahoma A&M, then a Valley member, hired Henry P. Iba out of Northwest Missouri State to be their coach. So Drake, way to find the old manual. That, and of course, things go full circle. We'll go see that throughout the course of the morning. But one of Coach Iba's proteges was Sparky Stallcup, who coached an original member of the Valley, University of Missouri. And Sparky, by the way, the granddad of Jack Watkins' wife, Jenny. So see how this all goes full circle. But Drake, congrats on a great year. And for the women, wow, what a year to have 5 teams clumped that tightly. And by the way, congrats, Valpo, on your best night ever since you've joined the Valley. With your win last night, by far the best performance in Arch Madness that the Beacons have had, and then an exhilarating victory last night on your campus to throw a real wrench into the women's race. So congratulations to you and of all the member schools, because it is a day of celebration. Before we begin our program, though, we do need to recognize our presenting sponsor for this event, and it's Enterprise Center, the home of Arch Madness since 1995. The venue, along with the conference, signed a contract extension in January of 24 to keep the Arch Madness at the Enterprise Center through the 29-30 school year. With us today is Todd Mitchell, Vice President, General Manager for Enterprise Center and Stiefel Theater. Todd, our thanks to you, your passion, and your effort to make this venue and the entire St. Louis Blues organization to allow this to happen, and your unyielding support to the Missouri Valley Conference and Arch Madness. Let's give Todd a hand, if you will, please. "118 years, and to put it in perspective, when Coach Iba was hired, the Valley had been in existence for 28 years when Coach Iba got the job. But the Valley remains the second oldest intercollegiate athletics conference in the nation, with only the Big Ten being around longer, as they were established in 1896. But in 118 years, the Valley has been home to 37 universities and competed as member schools. Thousands of student athletes, coaches have taken part in athletic competition. We've had individual national champions. We have had institutional national champions. The conference has a unique and a rich history. For starters, Dr. James Naismith, the inventor of the game of basketball, was one of the league's founding fathers. Charter member universities, comprising the original 7 of the new conference in 1907, included, as I mentioned, Mizzou, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Drake, WashU of St. Louis, just down the street, and Ames Teachers College, now known as Iowa State. There have been 30 other institutions since that time that have hailed from 13 different states in the membership of the Valley. And for those new to Arch Madness, the conference welcomed Belmont, UIC, and Murray State as its newest members in July 1 of 2022. The league has been nationally competitive in virtually every sport. It has been a pioneer in many ways in both the men's and women's side, in providing opportunities that were not provided before, but the Valley opened doors. None of this success can happen without the strong and committed campus leadership. The Missouri Valley's return to prominence in recent years can be attributed to the Missouri Valley Conference Board of Directors. They have been committed to give you the best athletic programs possible. These men and women have led the way, and it's not been easy, in the ever-changing world of college athletics and the ever-changing world of education at the higher level to improve athletics facilities and the environments on their campuses, to hire top-notch athletic administrators, to provide the resources to keep outstanding coaches in place in the Valley. So it's only appropriate that we take a moment to introduce the members of the Missouri Valley Conference Board of Directors who are with us this morning. And if you could briefly stand when your name is called. But let's hold our applause, if you would, until we get to the end of the roll call, if you will. Representing Belmont University, President Greg Jones and his wife and Reverend Susan Jones. From Drake University, President Earl Marty Martin. Also in attendance from Illinois State University, please greet President Andave Tuhule and his wife, Dr. Rose Tuhule. From the University of Northern Iowa, President Mark Nook and his wife, Cheryl. We'd also like to recognize two newest members of the Valley's Board of Directors that are with us this morning for their first Arch Madness. From Indiana State University, please welcome President Mike Goddard and his wife, Catherine. We want to thank each of our individual and institutional CEOs for their strong commitment to college athletics and to the conference. Please, ladies and gentlemen, acknowledge their efforts 365 days a year. Also, I'd like to take a moment to thank a few of the individuals that make this morning possible. Jesse Levine of Stiefel Theater, Jessica Harvey and Victoria Feathers of Levy Restaurants, Chris Fromm and Logan Putnam from the Enterprise Center, who've once again busted their tail to prepare our meal and have the setup here at Stiefel Theater. Also, Valley Assistant Commissioner in Special Events, Ariana Rice, responsible for the planning and execution of this morning's event. Senior Associate Commissioner Mike Kern, the chair of the Valley Hall of Fame Committee, providing guidance in the selection of the inductees. And with 118 years of history, that's not an easy job. And the Valley's Director of Marketing and Corporate Fulfillment, Russell Suzuki, all contributed to this morning's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, not every league does this. Not every league does this. Plato said what will be honored will be repeated. This is special that we have this opportunity this morning to set aside something that represents this league's past, to also celebrate the present, and to look to the future. So would you please thank all the folks that made this morning possible for all of you. As we all know, the 24-25 academic year has seen a resurgence in Valley men's and women's basketball, as I alluded to earlier. The women's basketball tournament's going to be something, man, next week with that logjam at the top of the league at the beautiful Ford Center in Evansville. And Evansville has been an amazing spot for championship opportunities and hosting events for years and years. The expansion of the conference television endeavors, which again is one of a kind. The league continues to be a leader, to be an advocate in the areas of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the collegiate athletic space, again, ever-changing. It is perfect, then, to have the 10th commissioner of this league be someone who has 30 years of experience in coaching, 10 years of experience in administration prior to coming to the Valley. I mentioned Drake. It was great to see Drake this year get wins over the ACC, the SEC, and the Big 12, and to capture the Charleston Classic. But he leads the way in a difficult and challenging landscape of college athletics. But the Valley is, and will continue to thrive under his leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Commissioner of the Missouri Valley Conference, Jeff Jackson.
Thanks, Mitch. You're way too kind with your words. You know, I'm always pleased that we recognize our board. It's probably also important that we recognize our athletic directors. One of the things I would tell you, and I'm not sure everybody's aware of this, but during this time, we probably start on Wednesday night. We have a dinner with our board representatives that are able to make it. And then yesterday morning, we have conference meetings that consist of our board and our athletic directors. And we'll bring people in from the NCAA and to help us navigate what may be the most challenging times in the history of collegiate athletics. And I can tell you, those conversations are challenging. What our board members and our athletic directors are trying to do is almost Herculean. it's just a new time. It's a new relationship in terms of how we interact with our student athletes, how we look at our student athletes, especially in the recruiting space. You know, I see Marcellus out there, and I know he went through this last year with his son, who plays for Rutgers. It's just a different time. And what I hope everybody in this room understands and appreciates is just how much time and effort and relentlessness this group has in trying to do what is absolutely best for our student athletes. And that is the North Star. That is what is most important to us, is figuring out how to create the best student athlete experience possible. And events like this kind of harden and replenish me, because I can tell you over the last 3 or 4 months, we just spend way too much time talking about things that don't necessarily pertain to the student athlete experience on a day-to-day basis. Everybody knows we're dealing with house settlements and large sums of money in terms of what we need to do because of, to be quite honest, mistakes that we've made in the past as the NCAA. And the Missouri Valley will manage that. The Missouri Valley will continue to put the student athlete experience first, and we will figure out a way to be who we are and be one of the best conferences in the country. And the people in this room exemplify that. The fact that we're celebrating a group of people who have tirelessly given their time, their effort, their energy to the success of young people. And that's what they have done consistently, and that's why we celebrate them. You know, it's kind of interesting when I start reading the bios and trying to figure out who the people are that we're celebrating. And I always kind of, you know, chuckle to myself. You know, Tyler, I got a chance to meet you for the first time this morning, and I'm trying to figure out if you got like wings on your ankle, because I have no idea what it's like to be called the fastest Iowan. Okay, I just look at that and I'm like, okay, hey, that's pretty cool. You know, when I first got involved with what I would call our courtship of Belmont, in trying to figure out if they would have an interest in joining the Valley, one of the first things that they talked about was Betty Wiseman and what she meant to their institution, what she meant to the plight of women's basketball having an opportunity to move forward, what she meant to Title IX, and it's with great joy that we have a chance to celebrate her today. Marcellus is somebody, he doesn't know, and I remember watching him play because I was a coach. You know, and I'm thinking, you know, yeah, he's pretty good. 3 years in a row to make the All-Valley team. And again, what I hope everybody understands about Marcellus, as good as he was as a player and what he was able to accomplish as a Brave, man, what he does in that community in Peoria, how he gives tirelessly of himself to others, again, it's one of the reasons why this room is so great. Bruce, you know, I kind of chuckle because when I took this job, one of the first texts I got was from Bruce Weber. And it was a very nice text. It was very much, hey, you know, congratulations. But there was also a little bit, don't screw this up. Okay? Because we know how Bruce feels about the Valley. We know how important the Valley is to him. And again, it's fantastic that we have a chance to honor and celebrate him today. I'm a baseball fan, okay? So, you know, I love basketball. Grew up in New York City. I'm not a Met, not a Yankee fan. I love excellence. My father was a huge baseball person, and we would talk about whether it was the Willie Mays or the Roberto Clementes or people of that nature. And so, you know, it's a lot of fun for me to get over to Terre Haute and watch Indiana State play. And it's a very common occurrence when you're there, if you're looking behind home plate, you're going to see Bob. And I think Bob, you know, very much, you know, just shows the passion that he has for Indiana State, he has for baseball, he has for those student athletes. I can't think of any event that I've attended where it has to do with Indiana State student athletes where I haven't seen Bob, you know, or Bob and his wife. And again, I think it just shows how important he feels about that institution and what that institution means to him. And, you know, it's unfortunate today that Lisa wasn't able to make it, but I think over the last couple of years, we all know what she's been able to do. Head coach of Iowa, the management of 2 back-to-back Final Fours, what she has been able to do as a student athlete in this conference, as a coach in this conference. So it's a tremendous class. It's the reason why the Valley is so special. It's the reason why we will continue to be special. I, again, want to congratulate all the inductees and look forward to having a great event for the rest of this morning, and look forward to seeing all you over in about 12 o'clock and seeing some great basketball. Have a great day.
Thanks, Jeff. If you're around Jeff for 5 minutes or more, you realize he's going to put a great light or spin on the moment. You know, in this day and age of college athletics, we can focus on what we don't have instead of looking at the blessings of what we do have. And what we do have, and I saw this 30 years ago in my very first Arch Madness. I go, this isn't a conference postseason tournament. This is an NCAA first round weekend feel. That's the way it is. And hopefully our new members of the Valley understand that this is an amazing postseason tournament that feels like for all of your student athletes that they're in an NCAA first round feel to it. It's the 35th year of Arch Madness, the 31st here at Enterprise Center. But this venue, the site of the Valley Tournament since '95, as I mentioned, has also been the site of 5 NCAA basketball championship events, including the 2001 and the 2009 Final Fours. And we had a team in the 2001 Final Four. It's undergone tremendous renovation to be one of the nation's top venues. It's the perfect setting for Arch Madness, which everybody else says their clock to March Madness with Arch Madness. And we'll conclude on March the 9th, 1 week before NCAA Selection Sunday. And in March 2026, it will also serve as the site for not only Arch Madness, but then soon after, NCAA men's basketball first and second round activity hosted by the Valley. Yep, it'll be another busy time in 2026. With that, I think we need to just give a hand to the entire Valley staff, to Jeff and his leadership, to people like Jack Watkins, who represent this league nationally. And if you don't feel that it's an NCAA kind of feel when you come here, then I would say dive in even further. But let's give them a hand before we get to our inductees. Jeff talked about Coach Bluder. Our first inductee is Lisa Bluder. Played at the University of Northern Iowa, put together a storybook coaching career with success at St. Ambrose with the Bees, Drake University with the Dogs, and with the Hawkeyes at the University of Iowa. 169 wins and back-to-back NAIA Fab Four trips at St. Ambrose. Then she was hired at Drake and redefined the Dogs program. 188 wins, 20 or more victories in 5 of her 6 seasons with the Bulldogs, 4 Valley Tournament crowns, 3 Valley regular season titles, trips to the NCAA tournament, and not only trips to the NCAA tournament, wins in the NCAA tournament. After a run at Drake, Lisa became the all-time winningest coach at the University of Iowa with 528 wins. 3-time Big Ten Coach of the Year, she led her team to 22 postseason appearances, 4 in the WNIT, 18 in the NCAA tournament. Back-to-back national championship game appearances, 2019 Naismith College Coach of the Year selection, and retired from coaching this past year. Also was the caddy for Caitlin Clark for all that time. I got to tell you a quick story. Caitlin Clark is a big Chiefs fan and was ever since kindergarten. Her family would come to games once or twice a year. It's December the 22nd in 22, and Caitlin Clark texts me and she goes, I'm at the game. It's Christmas Eve. I go, it's like -9. Where are you setting? This is before she got to set with Taylor Swift, right? This is before Caitlin Clark became Caitlin Clark. And I go, does Bluder know you're here? She goes, no, I snuck away from campus. I had about 24 hours to get it in. So anyway, the Caitlin Clark Bluder deal was pretty awesome to watch that. But after becoming one of the great coaches in NCAA history, Coach Bluder ended with 884 overall victories, 10th all-time in NCAA women's basketball history. And as Valley correspondent Eric Braley explains, Bluder grew up in the Valley, but the league never grew out of Coach.
From 1990 to 2000, former UNI student-athlete Lisa Bluder led Drake to 4 MVC tournament titles, 3 MVC regular season crowns, was a 3-time Valley Coach of the Year and won 188 games, the second most in school history.
She took them and made them nationally relevant, in my view. They were nationally ranked. They were in the NCAAs. In a very good competitive league. So she exceeded expectations competitively. But then, she was one of the first, in my opinion, who really embraced the marketing and promotion. She started a ticket drive, season ticket drive. She had an advisory group of women, really influential women in the Des Moines community. And so she really was intent upon exceeding expectations and raising the bar. Not just on the basketball side, but in all aspects of the program that she built.
Lisa went on to become the all-time winningest coach at the University of Iowa with 528 wins. She was a 3-time Big Ten Coach of the Year, 5-time Big Ten Tournament champion, and led Iowa to back-to-back NCAA Final Four appearances in 2023 and 2024.
I think she's one of the most incredible people. The way she coached, how she coached. I got to see her, front row seat for most of her career. Humble, understood the mission, where she moved the needle, changed a lot of people's lives, changed a lot of people's careers.
When I look back, I think that was Lisa's real strength, was her ability to impact young women. We probably heard about it more after she left Drake, more recently, but that always was what she was about, was how she really developed young women. And now I think back on all the talent that she had, and there are lawyers and veterinarians and so many great stories of the people that her players at Drake have become, and how they still feel about her.
For the Missouri Valley Conference, I'm Eric Braley.
As Jeff mentioned, Lisa couldn't be with us today, but her son David is playing in the NCAA Division III basketball championships today. He plays at Grinnell. They're playing Wisconsin-Platteville. But Lisa did send a heartfelt video.
Hello. I wish that I could be there with you today, but unfortunately, I'm not able to make it. I really want to thank the Missouri Valley Conference for this unbelievable award. I've had so many great memories of being in the Missouri Valley Conference. First, as a student athlete at the University of Northern Iowa, where I played for the women's basketball team and just enjoyed my time as a Panther. And then, for 10 years, serving as the head coach at Drake University. And those memories are spectacular, just magical times that we had. The conference is so good, competing against some of the best coaches in the country. And of course, the great fans that we had at Drake University. I can't think of Drake without thinking of Nancy Stefani. I know I'm joining her in the Hall of Fame. What a great ambassador of women's basketball, and truly a Drake Bulldog all the way through. I've had so many great players at my time at Drake, and I still consider them family. And so I'm thankful for all the young women that I was able to coach. And obviously the coaches, some of them that came with me here to the University of Iowa, like Jan Jensen and Jenny Fitzgerald. And of course, I want to thank my husband, Dave, who was there the whole time. Just amazing support. I wouldn't be able to have done what I did without him. Our two of our daughters, Hannah and Emma, were born when I was the coach at Drake University. So it has very special meaning to me. And I will never forget the great memories of the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. So thank you so much for this honor. I'm very appreciative, very blessed. Thank you very much.
Those of you in this room that know Lisa know she's a transformational coach. And that leads us into our next Hall of Fame inductee, who is a transformational in every way at Belmont. A native of Portland, Tennessee, Betty Wiseman has been an active figure at Belmont for 6 decades. Student, coach, professor, administrator, mentor, trusted advisor. In 1968, she founded the Bruins women's basketball program, the first in the state of Tennessee Now let me repeat that. The first in the state of Tennessee, because think of the other institutions in that state, and also in the Southeast as well. In 16 seasons, Betty won 247 games, 4 consecutive berths in the National Women's Invitational Tournament, and 4 Coach of the Year selections. For her efforts, she becomes the latest recipient of the prestigious Valley's Paul Morrison Award of Merit, presented to those individuals who have made significant contributions to their respective league member institutions, the Valley, or collegiate athletics in general. As Valley correspondent Christian Sadler relates, there is no question that she is Belmont Betty.
My name is Betty Wiseman. Now I'm known as Belmont Betty. And I started something really special with a real purpose and meaning.
Betty Wiseman and Belmont University are almost one and the same. Founder of the women's basketball program, Betty has worn many hats, but her time here began as a student.
I signed a contract during my senior year to play this with this semi-professional team. And I had 30 days to break the contract. In my mind, I wanted to go to Belmont, and that was the only opportunity to play basketball. And so I came to Belmont with my mother and asked for a meeting with Dr. Gabhart, the president. He said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be a teacher, maybe coach. And he said, why do you want to be a teacher? And I said, because of all the teachers in my life that have influenced my life, I want to influence. I want to do the same. And he said, you have a big decision. And so I came home, and on the 30th day, I broke that contract and made my decision that changed everything for me. God was in it, and he had a plan, and I think that was his plan, to come to Belmont, to pursue a degree in teaching and coaching, probably at a high school. Little did I know that I would spend the rest of my life at Belmont, my home, my family.
Betty's calling to serve extends far beyond basketball.
And lo and behold, the Tennessee Baptist Convention calls Belmont Religion, School of Religion, said missionaries would like for you to bring a sports team over and work in the schools, etc. And they said, Betty, would you be interested? And I said, yes, yes, yes. And that's how it started. God gave basketball back to me. I gave it up. He gave it back to me as a team. I gave it up so that the program could move forward. What did God do? He gave it back to me in the form of sports ministry. It's important in my life to know where I've come from personally, to know where our program has come from, and to know where it is today. You don't think every game, am sitting up there just proud as a peacock. And it's not pride that you're prideful. It's just, yes, we've done it. We've done it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Belmont Betty Wiseman.
Let me begin by saying that I'm humbled to be here today, to be included in this prestigious group of honorees as a new member of the Missouri Valley Conference Hall of Fame. To stand in this place with all these MVC giants, I'm honored just to be in your presence. First of all, this award is not about me. It's about a place called Belmont that I've called home for 64 years. It is about the people that I call family. And it's about a career that I call ministry. How blessed I have been all these years by God's profound call on my life. Growing up on a farm in the small town of Portland, Tennessee, served me well in my journey. I learned as a little girl the value of hard work and discipline. Nothing was ever too difficult for me. Hours were long and demanding, and I was intrigued by challenges. Challenges of doing, planting seed, and making things work. I'm the beneficiary of so many people in my life through the years, people who spoke truth, encouraged me, disciplined me, believed in me, demonstrated the right way, the only way of doing things, how to encourage and treat people with kindness and love. And it all began with my parents back on that farm. Even now, at 82, there is still that little girl inside me that wants to come out and play. Sometimes I do at ball games. I could never play enough. The only sport in high school for girls in the 50s was basketball. Divided court, 3-on-3. And I'm still angry today that I could not cross that center line. So, my senior year of high school, I would stay after school and practice with the boys' team just so I could play full court basketball. We've come a long way, baby. In the beginning of my journey as a coach, I lived in a man's world, but was never frowned upon or mistreated. The men accepted and valued me for my determination. I would be the only female at coaching clinics and treated like one of the guys. I even asked questions. Imagine that in the 60s and 70s, a woman in a room full of men asking questions. From those humble beginnings to this podium today has been a journey of faith for me and a love affair with students, a commitment to excellence, valuing what you have and making the most of it, enjoying the journey. It wasn't always easy, but the prize for me has always been in the process. Every day, I'm thankful for Title IX. I still celebrate that victory. I know what it was like before that legislation, and it does my heart good to sit down on about any given day, turn on my TV, and watch women playing sports. Sports is just a way of life for me. Creating the Sports Evangelism Missions Ministry at Belmont in the early 90s will remain closest to my heart. Taking our student athletes around the world to use sports as a platform for sharing their faith, being the hands and feet of Jesus, loving and caring for people, reaching youth all over the world for Christ, that has eternal value. You know, they call me a pioneer, a legend. Makes sense to me. Just means I'm getting older, and I've been around the block a few times. I did not know what I was getting myself into when I went into the president's office as a 24-year-old female and asked to start a women's basketball team. I was too young to even think about the consequences, but if I had it to do all over again, I would welcome the opportunity. And if I could have my way, I would cut this award into a whole lot of pieces and distribute it to all those young women of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, give them each a piece of it for saying yes and trusting me with those moments in time. So on their behalf, and on behalf of my big Belmont family, I accept this Paul Morrison Award. Thank you, Missouri Valley Conference. To God be all the glory.
As I stated, not every league does this, but this league does. Thank you for the blessing you just gave us. It's also a time to show that you can be a national champion and come from a Valley school, because our next inductee did exactly that. From Northern Iowa, Tyler Mulder, who came from Orange City, Iowa, 8-time All-American at UNI, took the 800-meter national championship in the 2008 National Indoor Championships. Mulder became the 4th UNI track and field student athlete to capture an individual national title in school history. Tyler was an 8-time NCAA qualifier, 16-time Valley champion, and earned Most Outstanding Track Athlete of the Meet honors at the 2008 and 2009 Missouri Valley Conference Indoor Championships. As Valley correspondent Eric Braley explains, Tyler molded, shaped his career in the Cedar Valley to produce national championships and international milestones.
Tyler Mulder is the fastest ever Iowan in the 800 and the mile, as he had monumental success at the University of Northern Iowa and professionally. From 2005 to 2009, he was an 8-time All-American, posting school records in the 800 meter, 1,000 meter, 4x400 relay, sprint medley relay, and distance medley relay. Mulder won the 800-meter national title at the 2008 NCAA Indoor National Championships at Arkansas.
You know, if you look, we're here at the Tyson Indoor Track Center. This is where Tyler won an NCAA championship. We were so proud of Tyler being able to represent the University of Northern Iowa, the Missouri Valley Conference, and winning a national championship. Those are not easy to come by. Take a lot of hard work, and you know, just epitomizes, you know, the kind of athlete Tyler was.
He had that toughness that when he had to do something, he did it. The workouts, he was relentless in his workouts, and he was relentless as a competitor when he raced on the track. So, you know, I think just overall toughness just made him do well and just have the will to win every time he stepped on the track.
His competitiveness kind of set him aside from everything else. And it didn't matter if it was in the 800-meter final at the conference meet or at the national championships. You knew you were going to get his best. And it was one of those things when the gun went off, you knew you were going to get the best version of Tyler Mulder on that race. And I think another thing to think about is how big of a team player Tyler was.
Mulder was an 8-time NCAA qualifier, 16-time Missouri Valley Conference champion, and was named the most outstanding track and field athlete at the 2008 and 2009 MVC Indoor Championships. Tyler led UNI to many team championships as the face of the track and field program.
You know, the other thing I remember about Tyler that was really special is his love for his team, his teammates. in the University of Northern Iowa. Such a great teammate. We talk about that all the time. You know, one of the most important aspects you can ever have as an athlete is to embrace where you're at, beat your peers, and be a great teammate. Just the epitome of a great NCAA student athlete, and you know, the type of product that you know, Northern Iowa turns out, and I'm just proud and happy for him.
Congratulations to Tyler Mulder on this Hall of Fame induction. Reporting for the Missouri Valley Conference, I'm Eric Braley.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing Panther Pride, our newest inductee, Tyler Mulder.
Okay, this should be pretty short and sweet for me. It's all right here. I just want to thank you guys for the NBC for putting this on. I know anytime you put together an event like this, it takes a lot of collaboration and effort and planning. So huge thank you for you guys and inviting myself and my family. So I just want to talk a little bit about how I ended up choosing UNI, and it was kind of slim pickings for me. It was 3 colleges really. It was Dordt College, which is a small NAI school close to where I'm from, Buena Vista, small D3, and then UNI. So it was just an absolute no-brainer to choose UNI. When I wanted to be the best, I wanted to be pushed by the best, and at that moment, we were the best. We had multiple sub-150 guys. Coach Paulson was one of them. So guys like him have really helped pave the way for guys like me to make UNI a very appealing place and the best place in the state. Yeah, Geffy put a lot of time and energy into me. Super grateful for him to find me. Recruitment back then was a little different, so I was talking with my mom earlier about, we had the landlines then, so it's crazy how fast things evolved after that. But he gave me a couple landline calls, and I didn't take a whole lot. He invited me to come to watch a UNI meet in the Dome, and it really didn't take a whole lot to get sold. They offered me books, and I was in. So, but as a whole, super grateful for just that opportunity. I think it really changed my life. My wife, she was a hurdler on the team there, and got 2 beautiful children, all because of track. And a lot of times when I'm recruiting at St. Ambrose, that's what I sell. It's you're not just signing up to do a sport. You're signing up to make friends, and you're signing up to meet your partner. But yeah, during the moment when we did all the accolades of winning conference meets, Bucky had us on a decade of dominance, which is absolutely insane. And then the amount of time that we hosted was also insane, just to host and win. Like being in that role now, it's a whole nother level to host and win. And I don't know, it's just pretty special that we had that culture. I think I had some great teammates, and we never wanted to let each other down. We wanted to make sure we scored what we could score and won what we could win, and that was the culture. It was just hard work. We never wanted to lose to each other, like teammates and workouts, and that's how we ended up having one of the fastest 4x4s in the country. And I think having great teammates also helped me push to win that national title back in 2008. Having great coaches that believed in me the whole way, and great administrators too. I think our athletic director drove back with us on the bus from nationals, so that was pretty sweet too. And then I saw Megan's at the NBC last weekend to watch the Panthers kind of recreate some history there and make their own path for the future. And yeah, just super grateful for this opportunity, and thank you guys for having me.
So the kid's going to run middle distance or the hurdles? Okay. Our next inductee, truly special. Bradley has such an incredible basketball tradition and history, and this guy's right in the middle of it. Marcellus Somerville of Bradley was a 3-time All-Valley selection. He led the Braves in scoring each of those 3 years. He powered Bradley's run in the 2006 NCAA men's basketball tournament to the Sweet 16 with incredible wins over Kansas and Pitt. The owner of almost 1,500 career points, Marcellus was the first ever Valley men's basketball student athlete to have at least 600 rebounds and 150 made threes in a 3-year period. 7 others had reached that benchmark, but that was in 4 years, not 3. The first and only Bradley student athlete ever to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Marcellus is very active in the Peoria community with the Friendship House of Peoria, which empowers families with hope and faith to grow beyond life circumstances. As the longtime voice of the Bradley Braves, Dave Snell shares Marcellus Somerville is a class by himself.
Central Illinois and Bradley University couldn't be prouder to have one of their own enter the Missouri Valley Conference Hall of Fame with the greats to ever participate in this great league. Marcellus Somerville was a star player for the Peoria High Lions and later came to Bradley and in his senior year helped the Braves to their first Sweet 16 since 1954. This Bradley Hall of Famer finished his Bradley career with 1,493 points in just 3 years, averaging 16.23 points per game. His Bradley career finished, Sellis saw the world with his tremendous talent, playing in Hungary, France, Turkey, Germany, Argentina, and Israel from 2006 until he retired in 2019. This family learning to become multilingual. Marcellus Somerville is more than just an athlete. He's a treasure, a loving husband to his wife, Brooke, who is a tremendous athlete in her own right. A wonderful family that sets him apart from many star athletes is what he gives back.
As a fellow Peoria native along with Marcellus, words cannot describe or adequately express what he means to not only Bradley University, but the greater Peoria region. Marcellus is class personified, and we appreciate him greatly.
You have a chance to have a good basketball team when your best player is your best practice player. And I don't remember Marcellus ever taking a day off and not being extremely team-oriented. Loved coaching him. It was an honor, and I loved following his career. Very proud of him.
We can see when he walks into a room with the kids at the Friendship House, he just lights up those kids' faces, and he makes a difference in their lives, and he's going to make a lasting difference throughout all of his career there at the Friendship House. We love having him there.
So think about what he's doing now, and think about those high character, hardworking, great husband, great dad, and he's making everybody else around him better. Not surprised at all. It was an honor to be around him. I'm not sure I coached him as much as he coached me.
Very, very few people have I met similar to Sellis. Just the way everything he does, you know, out of thinking for someone else. Like, he honestly always puts himself, you know, last. And he's a great, I haven't met a better human being. I can say that what drew me most to Marcellus was the similarities between him and my father. He's inducted because of the person that he is. He's inducted because of his values, his beliefs, his integrity. The person he has become is why Marcellus Somerville is being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I think that's amazing. I mean, that is absolutely amazing to me, but he is so deserving.
Brooke, you couldn't say it any better. Congratulations, Sellis. For the Missouri Valley Conference, this is Dave Snell.
Ladies and gentlemen, Marcellus Somerville.
That's a tough act to follow, but I'm going to try. I started crying before the video even started. No, I'm not a crier, actually, but I get emotional sometimes. No, I just want to just kind of give you my reaction when I got the call. Actually, I thought he was calling to offer me a position. True. But I was in awe. I said, wow, right? Me? I am truly humbled to be standing here this morning. I'm 16th, right? Sweet 16. I'm the 16th Bradley Pirate to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. 13th men's basketball player. And so Sweet 16 comes again. It's an incredible honor to be surrounded by so many inductees, so many people that care about you. And so I'm tremendously humbled and honored. And congratulations to all those 2025 inductees. To be included in this class, I am just honored to be a part of this group. Coaches, administration is a privilege. I will always cherish this moment. I wanted to express my gratitude to the Missouri Valley Conference Commissioner, Committee, Bobby Parker, Chris Reynolds, Brad, Jen Jones. I mean, the list can go on who's impacted my life. But I'm extremely honored. First and foremost, I want to thank God as well. His grace and guidance has driven my purpose. Proverbs 16:9 says, "The heart of a man plans his ways, but the Lord establishes his steps." My mom had me when she was 16. Me and my dad was 17. And they could have gave up on me right then and there. But God knew he had a plan for me. And I'm super honored to be here. Sorry. I want to take a moment to share about my mom. She passed in 2018. Mary Evans was her name. She instilled in me hope, right? Hope, the importance of hope, and to always be there and give back. And I mean, that's the reason why I kind of do my job today. I share this with you guys. I was born on the street that I serve as the executive director at the organization that I serve. I was born on that same street 2 blocks down the road. And it's just God's grace in full circle coming for me and my family. I am jumping all over the place, but bear with me. I want to thank God for the woman he put in my life, who shared this journey with me. We got married when I was a junior at Bradley University, so student athlete looked a little different for me. We had our first child my senior year, so he became the little mascot of the team, as you saw in the photo. That was UNI. We beat UNI in that game. Brooke drove all the way up, her and a few family members, and we won that game, and they were ranked 25th, I believe, that year. So a big game for us to be able to beat them. And his name is Lathan Somerville, sorry. I think Commissioner mentioned that already. But I also want to thank the coaches, friends, teammates for supporting me throughout my journey. I wouldn't be here today without their assists, past love, encouragement, hard work, pushing me. I can tell you a story about the Sports Illustrated. I remember we had just beat Kansas and Pitt, and that Monday, I think the press printed it, and I had no idea. And I get a call from Coach Les, and he sounds pretty urgent, and he's pretty teed off, it sounds like. And I'm like, geez, what did I do? I think I was late to class. So I'm trying to process what could have happened. And so I get in there, and he's like, I can't believe you. I cannot. He's going off. He's going into his little ways. and then he slides the Sports Illustrated. And I'm like, what? And he's just like, yeah, man, that's all you. That's a team. That's, your leadership. And I wasn't always, I don't know how to say it. I wasn't always the one that was the leader. I led by example, right? I'm talking about vocal leader. I led by example. And I thought that was enough until that senior year, and I found out it wasn't enough. I needed to lead vocally. I need to be more than just a, body working my butt off. And he instilled that in me. And I tell kids today that I have the privilege of serving and coming across that always identify people who see more in you than you see in yourself. And I think that's something that I was able to identify at a young age. I had teachers, I had people around me that always saw more in me than I saw in myself. I always thought I was a pretty confident kid, but it was always nice to feel and hear, like my physics teacher, Dr. Genji, Mitch Griffin, teachers who saw more in me than I saw in myself. And I just tell kids to always do that, always be mindful of that. Also, I am remembered of the countless memories, lessons, relationships that have shaped me into the person I am today. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my father, who put the ball in my hand. I wasn't the easiest child. I was pretty hard-headed, but he kept me focused with the game of basketball. And I appreciate him for that. He even put up a hoop in the backyard, had a just small. But I was able to shoot over the balcony and do some trick shots. So that's how I developed that nice arc for the three-point. So thanks, Dad. And then I want to address our future student athletes for the MVC. I offer these words of wisdom. Cherish every moment, learn from every experience, and always strive for excellence. The MVC has a rich tradition of producing outstanding individuals, and I have no doubt that you will continue to carry the torch. I leave you with these words. The greatest reward isn't in what you achieve, but The greatest reward isn't in what you achieve, but who you become in the process. As a book by Molly Fletcher, Driven. Thank you again, MVC, for this incredible honor, and I'm proud to be a part of this legacy and always treasure this moment. Sweet 16. Thank you.
Why do you do a breakfast like this? Because you find out you have brothers and sisters, Betty and Celis, you didn't even know you had. We also do this because you find humans where the mold was broken when God created them. And man, is that Bob Warren. Our next inductee is the first of three individuals who enter the Valley Athletics Hall of Fame in the Coaches Wing category that recognizes coaches during the time of his or her induction, either was or currently a member of the Missouri Valley Conference. Bob had quite a career, head baseball coach of the Sycamore program at Indiana State for 31 seasons. He won 1,070 games. He had 9 ties. 9 ties? No lights on the field, Bob. Bob's win total ranks top 30 all-time among Division I head coaches. His teams captured 6 Valley tournament titles, 7 trips to the NCAA tournament. You're going to see one he got robbed of. But he also went to the College World Series with Indiana State in 1986. A native of Crystal Lake, Illinois, he was with Southern and Southern Illinois University's 1968 College World Series team. Bob is in numerous halls of fame: the Indiana Baseball Coaches Association, Iowa Wesleyan, the American Baseball Coaches Association, and of course, the Indiana State University Hall of Fame. As Valley correspondent Grant Pugh relates, Coach Warren's career was so successful he got his own name, image, and likeness deal at Sycamore Stadium.
Well, it's always an honor to be thought of in a positive way, right? And what I feel strongest about is when people can say good things about what had happened with the kind of young guys we had and the coaches we had.
You would be hard-pressed to find anyone that has something bad to say about legendary ISU head baseball coach Bob Warren, except maybe the NCAA after that wild finish in 1985.
85 may have been our most talented team. And I got sideways with the NCAA that particular year because we weren't given a bid and we lost the conference championship game to Wichita State in 10 innings, 4-3. And we won 57 games, which was the second most in the entire country. And we still didn't get a bid. And so I thought those young men were robbed. I really did. And the university was robbed and our community was robbed because there were decisions made, you know, and that's what politics do when they enter into it.
That disappointing finish fueled the hunger his team had heading into the '86 season.
The theme was what lies ahead. And then, of course, we end up in Omaha.
The Sycamores punched their ticket to the College World Series in that magical year of '86 for the first time in school history.
If we knew at that time we were going to go to the World Series, that really wasn't in our minds. It was our goal.
Coach Warren led the Sycamores for 31 seasons with 1,070 wins, 6 MVC tourney titles, and 7 NCAA tournament appearances. However, it's not the awards or numbers that he takes pride in.
The greatest thing about what we did, you know, we never really, and I know other guys have said the same thing, you don't really look at it as a job. You look at it as what you do. And what an honor to watch kids grow up, go into professional baseball, have families, come back later years, and some of their own kids have returned to come here to play, and it's just a lot of fun. It's been a great, great ride.
For the Missouri Valley Conference, I'm Grant Pugh.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of a kind, Bob Warren.
My sons will be glad that I have 12 pages here. They all played for me, and I think it was one of my greatest honors. Not sure they felt that way, but thank you very much to everyone involved. What an honor to be part of this class. What fun not to know most of you until we get here and then learn more about you than I ever dreamed, and what fantastic people. It's surprised when Commissioner called me to inform me of this. I was overwhelmed, obviously, and surprised and shocked and all those kinds of words. But then I added to him, if he remembers, I know for sure there weren't any umpires on this selection committee. This is kind of humorous for me, but probably something I shouldn't be proud of, and I probably wouldn't say it if my sons weren't as old as they are now, but I worked for the NCAA after I retired in running as a site rep and running tournaments, as Bill Rowe did and some others here as well. And I was down in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I was running a super regional, and I came around the edge of the locker room where the umpires were dressing and getting ready for the game, and I heard them laughing and cutting up, and I'm thinking, what's going on in there? And I walked in the door, and all of a sudden everything went quiet. And of course, you know, when you've been in it as many years as I was, I got to know most of them. So I walked in and I said, you guys all of a sudden just stop talking, what's going on? And they wouldn't say anything, and finally I got it out of them, and I said, well, we were just reminiscing about which one of us threw you out of the most games. My middle son who's here today, or our middle son who's here today, Brad, he said to his mother in New Orleans one time we were playing Tulane, I was ejected. I have no idea why, but I was ejected, and they didn't have any place to put you. So they made me sit behind the dugout where I couldn't see. And Brad goes up to his mother and he goes, is Dad gonna go to jail? What a ride. I'm the most fortunate person that you have ever met. I'm convinced. Marcellus, I didn't like you very well for 4 years. You know that, right? What a wonderful person you are. I am so fortunate, and it's easy to see if you look at this table right down here. Oh, and by the way, of all the things I did, I want you to, Bonnie, would you stand up? Well, that was quick. I just wanted you all to know, no matter what I did, if the umpires thought I was wrong and all the stuff that was negative, I married up. We have our 3 sons here, Brian, Brad, and Barry, and grandchildren, Nick and Max, 2 of them. We have 87, I think. Nephew Andrew and his wife Kelly, my brother Tom and his wife Kathy, and my sister Sandy and her husband Bob. They came a long way, a lot of them. And there were a couple that were just a few miles away that didn't want to come. But Indiana State University has really been good to us, and they have never been better than they are right now, and that table over there explains why. You met the president and his wife already this morning, our athletic director. All the people at that table are fantastic, and I thank you so much for coming. It means a lot. And the friends from Terre Haute, I thought we had half of West Terre Haute here. People from our church, what a large group to attend, and I am so proud of you, proud of our relationships. So thankful that you came. As I said, I definitely am the luckiest person. My family always hates it when I get up to speak because they know I'm going to say that, but it's definitely the truth. You know, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Itchy Jones. It was already mentioned today. One of the finest Hall of Famers that we could ever have in the Missouri Valley. What a great man. Great friend. We just lost him a couple of weeks ago. And I remember him especially because in our era, you know how many coaches are going to stand up here soon and say they were at one place for 30-some years? Probably not going to happen. Our lives have changed. It's hard to keep an athlete 4 years now. But that's the way life has turned, and we have to adjust to it. But in our era, we would play Southern Illinois, or later on, Illinois. And after the games were over, we'd be at Itchy's house, or they'd be at our house. And you know, we never talked about the game, ever. You know, there's a lot of people in our country right now today that could learn from that. I have to think about this a little bit. You know, people said, well, there was success, and there was. A lot of success, a great run. The problem is that we can't bring all 964 of those baseball players, those student athletes, on the stage in a morning like this. But I think they know. I think they realize their meaning to the program, to the university, to their families. In fact, I'm quite sure they know. I woke up this morning, one of the first things I saw was a long congratulatory note from a former player. I showed it right away to Bonnie, but I couldn't show it here. He'd probably have you all crying. I think he failed 4 classes in one semester. I don't know. Our team was built around this answer to the question, you know, what was going on? What was happening? What was the responsibility that came out? And I came up with one word over the years, and I have often used it, and I think the word was commitment. Bruce, I know you exemplify that to the utmost, and so many others here too. You know, we could have gotten in trouble, but we didn't allow earrings, we didn't allow facial hair, we didn't allow beards, we didn't allow long hair, we didn't allow gold chains that go around your neck and break your neck as you try to stand up. We didn't allow drugs and alcohol, and boy, if you used profanity, you sat the next game. I couldn't coach today, could I? That's what my former athletes tell me. You know, it's said that success is a journey, not a destination. All of us coaches have used that. I'm still on a journey. And every day I'm reminded of the saying, and why not use another baseball cliche, right? Lou Gehrig ended it by saying, today, I'm probably the most lucky, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
You know, Indiana State and the Valley has such a great tradition of producing MLB players. When they get down to the 26-man roster, you're going to see a bunch of Valley guys, including Indiana State guys. But I hope Sean Manaea, when he gets off the IL, or Colin Ray, at some point this year will take a moment and think about Bob Warren and those guys and all they did to help them, but also their schools and the game of baseball. I'm not supposed to have favorites, but this next one I got to mention. He became a favorite of mine when I saw his first practice. To win is so difficult, I don't have to tell that to this room, but to win everywhere you go is nearly impossible. I went to his first practice in Little Egypt thinking, who is this guy? I knew Coach Cady. I knew he had been an assistant for Coach Cady for 20 years, which he'd be in a Hall of Fame just for that alone to survive Coach Cady. But I went to his first practice at Southern, and I thought, wow, this guy's special. It's one of the best practices I'd ever seen. And from there, it has been a friendship, but it's also been one of admiration. Bruce got the head coaching job at Southern Illinois, and with the Salukis won 103 games in 5 seasons, led the Salukis to the NCAA tournament twice, had a great run in the Sweet 16, 2002, and terrific wins that year over Texas Tech and Georgia. Hired by the University of Illinois in 2003, he coached the Illini for 9 seasons, registering 210 wins, 6 trips to the NCAA tournament, and I can still see it like it was yesterday because it happened here in St. Louis, and I was there seeing him in that bright orange jacket, waiting for his team to run on the floor to play for the national championship against North Carolina. Took over my alma mater's program at K-State in 2013. He guided the Wildcats for a decade, 184 wins, 5 appearances in the NCAA tournament, a Elite 8 run in 2018. He led K-State to 2 Big 12 championships, the first time that had happened since 1977 when Southern Illinois' Jack Hartman did it. Bruce Weber's list of national coaching accolades includes the 2005 AP National Coach of the Year. He had been Coach of the Year not only in the Valley, the Big 10, the Big 12, Henry Ibe Award, NABC Coach of the Year, Naismith College Coach of the Year, and the Victor Awards National Coach of the Year. As the voice of the Southern Illinois Salukis, Luke Martin confirms, Bruce Weber's passion for the Valley has never waned.
Saluki basketball was no stranger to success, having had Missouri Valley Conference and Saluki Hall of Famer Rich Herron at the helm. The following resurgence of Saluki basketball was led by the personable Bruce Weber.
Coach Weber's personality, an infectious personality, was key to him being able to develop his program and eventually succeed. He commanded the room, but not in a domineering fashion. When he walked in the room, you knew the head coach was here, but not because he was here to make everybody shut up and take notice of him. He was there to meet everybody and talk to everybody and be an ambassador for his program and for SIU.
He inherited a program that had recorded 3 straight losing seasons, and off the strength of preparedness and constant effort that spawned the nickname Floor Burn U, quickly turned the Salukis into Valley champions.
Being prepared to play was so important to the Salukis. Like, we wanted you to understand our approach to how we were going to win, and that's how we made our players. We did stuff back then that really allowed them to flourish and understand what it meant to be a winner.
During his 5 seasons at Southern Illinois from 1999 to 2003, Weber's teams compiled a record of 103-54, advanced to 2 NCAA tournaments in 2002 and 2003, including a Sweet 16 appearance, plus an NIT appearance in 2000. Under Weber, the Salukis beat 5 Power 5 opponents and climbed as high as number 22 in the national rankings. Off the court, he was also highly impactful on both his players and staff, including future Saluki head coaches Matt Painter and Chris Lowry, as well as Brad Korn.
I never knew what you were teaching me as a player. I just showed up every day and tried to do my best. And now as a head coach myself and be able to take a team to the NCAA tournament, all the values, all your character, who you are as a man really shines through in our program to this day. So to me, that is truly a legacy.
I just didn't know how good I had it because they taught me how to work. They taught me the game. They taught you to work with integrity. Good people, and they treated people the right way, and they didn't cut corners.
SIU won the Missouri Valley Conference in 2002 and 2003, and Weber was named the Missouri Valley Conference Coach of the Year in 2003. With all this in mind, Weber left behind a legacy that is matched by few in SIU history.
You were compared to coaching legends like Jack Hartman, Paul Lambert, and Rich Herron. And when you left SIU, every coach that followed you and that will follow in the future will be compared to Hartman, Lambert, Herron, and Weber.
And now he can have the title of member of the Missouri Valley Conference Hall of Fame. For the Missouri Valley Conference, I'm Luke Martin.
Question is if he still has that sombrero. It's rare, ladies and gentlemen, when somebody leaves a footprint at so many places. But our next inductee has done that. Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce Weber.
Thank you. It is truly an honor to be here, and I really say it with all my heart. When I got the call from Jeff, I was surprised. I was a little shocked, but just all the memories just kind of went through. I just started thinking about all the times, the first press conference, the wins, the losses, all the special moments that we had when we were at SIU. So. One, I want to thank the Valley and to have this tradition, and Mitch has talked about it. I was on the phone with Tom Izzo a little while ago, and all the old coaches, Bob, just we're worried about the game, where it's going, what's going to happen, and change, and I know change is part of life, but the thing Tom Izzo said to me, which is really sad, are we going to have Hall of Fames? Are we going to be able to have reunions? Because players are going to be there 7 months, 8 months. You can't have a reunion. How are you going to have a Hall of Fame? So for the Valley to continue this, and I hope they do, and I hope that this becomes a long-time tradition. It's so meaningful, and it is important, and it is special. There's no doubt. It's an honor. When I came to one of these other time and I looked at the book and the names, it's just incredible. And for me to be part of this, it's really special. And then this morning, even more to hear the stories of Lisa and Betty and Tyler and Marcellus and Bob. Their stories are so special. And congratulations to you and your achievements, and it is special, and I know you can just tell from your talks how important it is. So I appreciate the Valley. I appreciate all of the inductees being part of this. Coach Katie, my old boss, and it was 19 years, and he was a K-State grad also. There's something about these guys, but he taught me, you're no better than the people around you. And that's why you have success. And that, that's what I'm up here, because of all the people and what they played in my life. And right now my family's not here. I feel bad. My wife, She had a battle with a kidney stone this week, and the thing kicked her butt, and she couldn't be here, and I really feel sad. But, you know, for us, we're going to be 44 years coming up in a month. I will remember it, I hope. I forgot it a lot of times, I promise you, and that door was locked when I came home. But, you know, she's been so special. Megan, you just don't understand what a spouse of a coach is like. You work 340 days a year. You know, she raised our 3 daughters. They called me Ghost Dad. I kind of showed up. I would leave practice for like 5 minutes to run and watch a game, and I wave, and then I come back to practice. Just so and then they say, Dad, did you see the game? Oh yeah, I saw the whole game. But you know, it's you know, she's been so special and so important in my life. I wish she was here because I don't thank her enough, and I did take her for granted. She tells me that all the time, and I did. You know, she is special. The 3 daughters, they've been so much part of it. You don't understand, from when they were little, passing out candy at the road trips or making cookies or being part of it. And but they're all busy being moms now, and our oldest daughter's in San Francisco. My son-in-law is here, Taylor. He was the one that at least somebody could support me to be here, so I appreciate Taylor being here. But our girls were special. Hannah, Betty, I thought of you, our oldest. She was the most involved, and in Saluki fans, there were 2 people that you always heard. Coach Lowry's wife, you know, Erica was on the refs, unbelievable. My daughter, at 10 years old, got Bobby Knight to turn around and point at her. And I am not, Big Ten tournament, first Big Ten tournament, they screwed up the seats. They weren't ready. Jeff, everyone makes mistakes, even at the Big Ten. So Purdue fans were sitting behind Indiana. My daughter's 10 years old. She yells at him the whole time. Finally, he got upset with her and turned around and pointed at her. And so the ironic thing, and Taylor was there, about 10 years later, Coach Knight he's announcing our game, Illinois. We're at the NIT, we're in Madison Square Garden, and my daughter walks up to him and says, I've been yelling at you my whole life. And he was so happy, and he said, who, you know, Hannah Weber, blah, you know, this on and on. He wants to take a picture, and he's so proud. And he wouldn't let Taylor in the picture. And when Hannah walked away, you know what he did? Coach Knight patted her on the butt. I don't think you can do that anymore, Bob, either. So, but she was hurt. I got the job at K-State. And the head of the officials, Curtis Shaw, came to us and he said, tell your daughter I am no longer officiating. I'm just in charge of them. So even the officials knew who my daughter was. So it's, but the girls were special. I appreciate them, and I hope I was a good dad. We got 5 grandkids. It's so cool. Nothing better than that. And just, I wish they were all part of it. But, and again, SIU, it was special. It was my first job. And to be honest, I love being assistant coach. Bob said he was the luckiest man in the world. I always said I was a miracle to be in college coaching. People have heard the story. Coach Katie interviewed me. I wanted to be a GA. I drove 9 hours from Milwaukee to Western Kentucky. I went in, I had my leisure suit on. I was all ready to go. I walked in, I'm sweating. I went to the secretary, I said, I'm Bruce Weber, and she said, so? And I said, I'm here to meet Coach Katie, and she goes, he's not here, and she walked away. And I said, ma'am, I drove 9 hours. He was supposed to meet me for this job. And she goes, I'm sorry, he's out of town. And I said, well, was he gonna be back? No, not for a week. And so I drove back and, I was working camp. Next week, this is again, landline. I had a pay phone at camp. I had to put quarters in to call him. And I said, this is Bruce Weber, coach. He goes, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about our appointment. And he said, can you come back? I said, I'm sorry, I'm working camp. I had 9 hours. Either you got to hire me or not. And it was, and I think if you guys know Coach Katie, I didn't know him at the time. I sure, later on would have never confronted him, to be honest. I'm still afraid of him. He's 88, and I don't know if he's going to hit me or what he's going to do, but it was real quiet, and then he said, okay, you'll be my GA, come down, be here, blah, blah, blah. And again, that was the start of my career. It was with them forever. Everyone said, you want to be a head coach? I'll be honest, I thought I was going to be the head coach at Purdue, but things didn't work out, and those administrators kind of screw things up sometimes. Those ADs, I told Tim, they screw everything up all the time. But again, I have a strong faith, and things happen for a reason in life, and God has a plan, and I got a call from Roger Tedrick. Roger was on the committee. He said, this is Roger Tedrick, I'm SIU, we're interested, in talking with you guys. And he said, is this a good time? It was a Saturday morning, and I was with the 3 girls by myself. My wife was working, and I said, well, I'm actually cooking pancakes right now for the 3 girls, and they're yelling at me, can I please call you back? And I did end up calling back, but Roger always talks about that. That was our first, and I appreciate Roger and Sally for their involvement and what they've done. There's so many people, the cooks, John and Greg and Nancy, they're so important. The Doziers are here. Just so many special people that were part of our program and why we had success. And again, if you don't have those people, you cannot have success. I had a lot of different administrators when I was there. Actually, I think, Rod, you might remember, I think 4 or 5 chancellors in 5 years, 3 different athletic directors. We didn't have an athletic director for a while. I thought I was the athletic director. But everyone always said, how do you deal with this? I said, it's great. No one questions me. So if anything, they're asking me, what should we do? And so, but, the people there, the administration, Jim Hart, he was the one who hired me, obviously, Hall of Famer, Jim and Mary. And just a quick story, part of the reason, beside Roger liking me because he thought I was good, I was cooking pancakes for my daughters. I went to their house, Jim and Mary, after the interview, and they had a Bichon Frise, a dog. And Mary was so impressed that I knew what that dog was. Well, we had a Bichon, and my wife had a Bichon before at her, so I actually knew it, and the Bichon sat on my lap the whole time we were at the house, and Mary said, you're getting a job, because I knew what a dog was. Think about that. So, but, it's funny, but appreciate Jim, Mary, all the people that were so instrumental. And then our staff, Rodney Watson's here. Obviously, you saw Matt Painter and Alan Major. You think of that was our first staff. All 3 guys became head coaches. Obviously, Matt's success. Alan was at North Carolina, Charlotte, and Rodney going to Southern Indiana. And I'm going to give a shout out to Rodney, a long, long time assistant coach. I did it. He was so important being part of Coach Herron, myself, Matt, Chris. Finally got a chance, but Rodney deserves to be an SIU Hall of Famer sometime, and I hope that happens. And appreciate his commitment, long time for it. But you have no idea where it started, and it was tough at the beginning. Coach Herron, again, Hall of Famer, did an unbelievable job, but things had changed and all this, and I got the job, and some things that happened, we get courtesy cars, and I retired, and it was the first time I bought a car in my life. It's like, I don't get a car anymore? It's like, what's going on? But we didn't have cars for a while, and one of the greatest stories, we would work probably 8:30 till 1 o'clock in the morning. We were trying to fill a team, and I answered our administrative assistant secretary, wasn't there. I answered, and the person said, hey, I just want to tell you Rodney Watson won't be there for a while. And I said, who is this? What? And he goes, well, I was just driving down Highway 13, and Rodney's bike broke down driving to work, and I saw him carrying it, so I'm not sure when he'll get to work. I just thought I would tell you. So we didn't have cars. Matt and I walked. Rodney had a bike. And this is a true story. we signed 7, 8 players in that spring, and our administrative assistant, she let us use her car when the kids visited campus so we could take them around. So that's where it started, the locker room. Ryan Hammer's here. He was the first one I saw when we got our family loaded up the car and came to Carbondale, and Ryan was in the parking lot, and he was part of that first group. They would never use the locker room. It was so bad. You people don't understand. It was connected with football. And what happens at the end of the football season? It smells. And it was just awful, and our guys aren't showering. And I'm like, what's going on here? And they said, Coach, we're not using that locker room. So, and Rodney, we raised money, we painted ourselves, and 3 years later, we went to the Sweet 16. And, you think about that, and that's what, it's amazing. And again, I appreciate Coach Lowry joins our staff, his success, Lynn Mitchum, so I really appreciate, all those guys. But the players, that first group, when I see the press conference, the video, I know one right away, somebody said, you'll be lucky to win 4 games your first year. And I was like, God, I called back Coach Katie, can I come back? And I didn't know what it was going to be like, but that group, we signed the players. They were the ones that started it, and they were the culture. They were the brand, the hard work. We demanded of so much of them. And that, from Monte to DT, Chris and Ryan and Lance, and I go on, Ricky Collum, that first group, they bought in, and we won 15. And we probably were close to getting an NIT bid, a couple close games at the end. The next year, that group, they had already created the culture. We added some new guys, Kent Williams and Jermaine Dearman, Sylvester Willis. I got to remember him because otherwise he'll text me and tell me, why didn't you mention me? But we got to the NIT. And we play, and now it was a pretty, you think about it, even the Valley now, to get in the NIT is something. And we're out at Colorado playing a Big 12 team, and we're kicking their butt. I mean, we're up 18-20, and one of the officials ran by, and he goes, I didn't know they played this type of basketball in the Valley. I said, yeah, we're pretty good. And went to BYU, lost, and then obviously the third year was a little bit of a transition. We had lost the older guys. The new group was trying to take over leadership, and I still remember I went in. We had played Mississippi in Hawaii, and they ended up going to Sweet 16, and we played them right down to the end. And I asked the team after, I said, were we good enough to beat Mississippi? And they said, yeah, they're all looking. I said, that means next year we should be in the Sweet 16. And, as a coach, you say things and you put things in their minds and stuff, but 9 months later, we were in the Sweet 16. And it was an amazing, special accomplishment. To be part of that, I still remember Mike Reese is here, a longtime voice of the Salukis. Appreciate Mike. And he, after the game, he said, do you know where you're going? And I had no idea. And he just started laughing. I never looked at the bracket. I was still trying. I thought we'd never win a game at SIU, more or less go to the Sweet 16. But, and one other person I got to mention, Ed Thompson was our longtime trainer. It just, all those people are so important and to be part of the program. But Sweet 16, and then obviously the next year, another NCAA. Was talking with Dana Altman. I did their game. Kind of do announcing. Somebody has me do it. I'm not sure I announced very well, but I had their game the other day, and the pride of the Valley. He's practicing running up and down. He had lost 5 in a row. And in the middle of the practice, he'd run over, Coach, remember when we kicked your butt in the tournament championship? And then he'd go back. Remember the game when Ken hit the shot? He just, so even Dana has that pride and the stories, and obviously you've accomplished so much along the way, but still remembering those days. And, it's so special. And I am so proud to be here, so proud to be honored to be included in this group. The success we had. I've been very blessed. I said I was a miracle to be able to do what I did and to coach at the different places. And I've been fortunate to play in the national championship game, to win a gold medal with USA Basketball. But I will tell you, my 5 years at SIU will be probably one of my most joyous and proud 5 years of my life because of what we talked about, where we started, what we accomplished. The first thing I asked the players when we got there, what do you want? And they said, we want Nikes. Well, I was already connected with Coach Katie. We got to wear Nikes, and they didn't have to wear Reeboks or something that they didn't like or whatever it was. And then they said, we want to have Midnight Madness. And I said, okay. And Coach Painter kept saying, Coach, don't have Midnight Madness. No one will come. Don't do it. And he kept saying it and saying it. And I said, we're going to do it. The players want it. Well, you know, if you said you were there, you're lying, because there was nobody there. We had a dunk contest. One guy made a dunk. He won. And he got hurt on the dunk. So, but my last game at SIU, Creighton, the last home game, the students, they slept overnight to get in. And it was sold out. And it was special. And to think about from that first Midnight Madness, no one there, to getting to that point, I'll be honest, I take a lot of pride and joy in that. And what we had in the success, and then the continued success, and four at-large bids in that stretch, from mine to Matt's to Chris's. And that's, you know, I was part of the golden years of Missouri Valley Conference, and I'm just so proud to be here, and thank you for it, and thank the Valley. And I know I'm here because I got wins. That's why you get in Hall of Fame. But I started coaching and teaching. I was a 5th grade teacher to start. All our family, everyone's teachers and coaches, brothers, Hall of Fame, Wisconsin High School, Illinois High School Hall of Fame. We're all teachers and coaches. And I got into coaching to affect young men's and ladies' lives. And that's why I got into it. I know you get awarded for wins, but I hope along the way I also affected a lot of people's lives. And that's why I got into it. And again, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate the Valley. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And go Dogs. Thank you.
People ask you why we do this. You now see why the Valley continues to have the Hall of Fame Board of Directors breakfast. And I want to thank the schools that are represented here that did not have an inductee, but came here anyway to represent your institution in this league. Because what we found out this morning, you have brothers and sisters you didn't even know you had. So we look forward to the years ahead and continued success for the Valley, but also honoring its past, because you see how valuable it is of what's happened here over the last couple of hours. Now, a couple of administrative announcements. We need all of the inductees to come back to the stage. There's going to be a team photo. You're part of your pledge class here going into the 2025 class. So make sure you come to the stage for photo ops, and for you personally, it'll be a great photo op to go back to the stage. Also, we need to clear out the Premier Ballroom. The Stiefel Theater folks have got another event. It's busy time, so we need to kind of vamoose out of here as quickly as we can. And to go to this afternoon's sessions, you have to leave and enter with your tickets through the Enterprise Center entries. So with that being said, before they go to the order, we good, Jack? We good? Jeff? If so, again, let's give one more round of applause to all of the inductees, and we will see you all here at the front of the stage for a picture.